Great to hear from Fudge. Really, his whole life has been League of Legends. Up 1-0 against 100 Thieves. We're going to cover the draft here as well.
Mom, I want to go home. No. No.
You must stay.
You're
Play
staying
more
there.
Fiora.
You will play League of Legends and you will like it. And we will watch.
I will watch. After the last game, I feel like I learned a lot. So let's get straight into the
It's a
draft.
good growth mindset, you know? Continue learning. Let's see what they can learn as far as the draft. From the previous one, obviously, jungle was very big, especially in the early game. Beautiful signs right there, by the way. Nice job, squad. But jungle is going to get pinched a little bit more. The Vi and the Pantheon have become very prominent bans, and then we know both of them really loved the Nefiri, but the Nefiri's gone forever now, so too bad.
Jace being the hover makes sense, but you go for it.
Yeah, they actually is prioritizing Jace over Azir, which is pretty interesting because they're both strong champions, but we did touch about Sniper's champion pool as well. I think that's why they were kind of considering. They end up going for Azir though.
Yeah, we were thinking that Shopify will probably continue to play Sniper's champions on both sides as the series progresses, just to maybe starve him by the end of the series. But being up 1-0, I'd say probably makes that even more likely, right? Because if they are to lose, it would have to go all the way to 4 games, and they'd want him out of champions by now. So I just wonder what it would be when Fudge picks it. It's not a high priority at the point, though.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe AD carry being the priority pick, so like Lucian being picked is interesting, even with the nerfs in tow, because like Varus would have been highest prio, 8th banned, so interesting to see the Lucian picks. What is your take on it? Because he got nerfed on his E, on his dash.
But I think Lucian, with especially with something like Nami and Milio, is still a really strong lane bully champions. Once you're kind of out of control in the early game, you kind of just take over the game and you can kind of end the game really fast.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of aggressiveness, but from the game 1, I feel like it kind of lacks their late game champion.
Okay, Annie into Azir. Thoughts, Huhi?
Annie into Azir, like I said,
top Annie?
yeah, I think they're kind of like all leaning on the early skirmishes. They kind of want to take control in the early game. I think they already picked Annie and Lucian to kind of do that into Azir. So I think they just have to play more like aggressive champion to really like go with that plan.
Yeah, I feel like if you're playing Annie into Azir, then you're like, come, need ganks, need ganks now.
Please.
You need things to happen fast.
Yeah.
Especially with the Sejuani being picked, I wonder what Contractz is going to go for. I was thinking, like, some of his best picks that I've loved is like the Diego. And if you have this much burst coming in from like Lucian and Annie, it could work here. But we'll have to see how the rest of the draft plays out because they're going to get outscaled.
Yeah, I think Sniper should probably lock in the Renekton here. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as a blind pick, especially with Gnar being Fearless banned from game 1 as a counter pick. This would push Fudge towards wanting to go Sion, I would think.
But do they want to grab the Nami/Milio now before they get banned out?
They probably should.
In the second rounds, because I mean, Lucian has 2 amazing partners, and then there are some other good partners, but they're just not quite the same.
Like LCK does play them with like Braum and like Nautilus, like some CC champions. So I do think they're going for that route. So
we have a Trundle.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
I mean, into Sejuani has always been super high prio pick. You know, be able to ult Sejuani. Sejuani probably won't go Aftershock now that they have a Trundle on the other side.
Yeah.
But still super good value with the passive.
it's like just an old counter. Like Contractz has been playing for a while now. Like when Trundle and Sejuani was a meta, like he used to be a Trundle player too back then. So
yeah.
I just feel like he can just always pull off those champions like from his pocket, which is really nice for the Fearless stuff.
Yeah, speaking of you playing with Contractz and Palafox, but also playing with River and FBI, you have 2 players on each team. I know you already predicted that 100 Thieves would win the series, but who do you want to win the series?
I mean, I have better memories. Like we've won more. We've won some championship with River and FBI. So you know, I guess my heart goes towards them a little more. But I definitely like both players on both teams.
Yeah.
So may the best win.
Yeah, that's understandable. You know, like he's got some.
There's a nice political answer. Very well done. Very well crafted.
It feels way better.
Yeah.
True.
Respectful.
True.
About the Trundle also though got a while ago got some really nice buffs to the cooldown for the pillar, and if you can have good pillar timings, it can actually screw over Azir a decent amount as well. Really mess up their backline. I'm actually excited to see them play this out because otherwise Shopify are fairly short range right now. That's what I'm looking at. They're gonna have to make some really explosive engages.
Ooh.
Split push.
Gonna be seeing the Yorick here. I remember seeing Sniper stream, I want to say like a couple weeks ago, and he was very confident with the Renekton versus Yorick. Talking about how he feels like he scales into the matchup quite well. So this is gonna be something that he should be pretty happy about.
When I see this matchup play out, I feel like the onus is on the Renekton to punish early, because the Yorick has a massive amount of sustain with his Q and will scale pretty well. So, I mean, that's going to be where they have to play through. They're going to have to play through Sniper in the top lane. Otherwise, I think Fudge will be a problem. It's such a weird contrast with the Lucian Annie for the early game, but then they have this Trundle Yorick in jungle topside.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't like that how they have still really little engage compared to a Azir comp.
Yeah, and there's Milio. I mean, it's all an Annie. Palafox has to do all the engage.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot on Palafox's shoulder and also a lot in Bvoy's shoulder to kind of walk up, being willing to take trades and chunk enemies.
Okay, that's it here from the Lounge. Casters takes in a game. What do you think of the draft?
All right, thank you very much, Lounge. I want to immediately get into this because, Azael, you and I have been talking about this Milio pick and feeling like there should have been way more focus on this.
Yeah, I'm just honestly really surprised that when you have Sejuani, Renekton, two champions that are very easily answered, by the Milio, especially Sejuani, throwing out the ulti, that's such an easy one for Milio, that you're banning Jace instead of Milio. I was really, really surprised. I thought when they went Trundle on 3, it was a guaranteed ban with what 100 Thieves had drafted, because I think Milio is an incredible pick into basically everything they have and such an easy answer for the CC that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was surprised they didn't pick it earlier in the draft as well. I'm surprised they saved it to R5, and then I agree with you, saving those 2 4-5 bans on blue for topside champs that presumably Sniper does not want to face.
All right, non-subscribers, we'll see you in 30 seconds. For everybody else, this one's going to be a bit of a different look. Last time around, Bvoy was playing a champion who wants to play slow, slower, slowest, so slow you can't finish another suffix on the word. That is how Senna plays the game. This time around, on the opposite, with the Lucian, you've got to be fast, you've got to be aggressive. You pick this champion to min-max your spacing and really show off that you've got that 600 APM hands that every AD carry wants to play for.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's going to be able to kind of flip that switch. It's definitely looking like on the left side of your screen, the most standard of standard comps. And then on the right side, it's kind of like the island of misfit toys.
Wacky
right?
bonanza.
Yeah, exactly. You got Yorick, you got Yannick the Ghost Man up in the top lane.
Yeah.
You got Trundle. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I do think that Yorick is an absolutely fine matchup into the Renekton. That being said, he doesn't really care about the cage whatsoever. And Trundle, obviously, this is that classic matchup into the Sejuani. River, is going to go phase rush and, of course, not be playing Aftershock because that would just make it even easier. But you can ult when he has that passive up and steal so much of his resistances.
Exactly. For anybody that hasn't seen this matchup in a long time, that's the whole focus of it. If you have Arctic Armor and Aftershock and they both get sapped by the Subjugate, then all of a sudden you're in negative resists as something that's supposed to be one of the hyper tanks in League of Legends. But it doesn't look like we'll get anything crazy here at level 1 this game. So let's go ahead and toss to Raz, who's standing by for an interview with Golden Glue.
That's right. Thanks for taking the interview. First question that I have for you is just after last game, what are some points that you guys can improve on? Because it was just a back-and-forth team fight fest.
Yeah, I mean, last game was an absolute slugfest. I kind of thought it was going to be like that going into it. I think one of the big takeaways we had from last game is to not be too rushed on the objectives. I think the Octocon, we definitely could have contested and snowballed from that position. And also, I think the other big one is just we got caught late game, and we didn't really have a late game team fight. So just making sure we're thinking one more time about protecting our carries and make sure we're not overstepping and going too deep.
That makes sense to me. Looking at the composition from Shopify Rebellion, you got a Trundle, a lot of burst. Any thoughts on the comp overall?
I mean, I think we've got the classic stage comp. We've got Azir, Xayah, Rakan, and then we've got, Sejuani as control jungle. I mean, I think they have to kind of make something happen with the Annie pick into Azir. So I think they're more pressure to try to snowball while we're just kind of scaling, pitch scaling.
True. I appreciate the time. I'm going to send this one straight back to the casters.
It is always interesting to hear what the coaches think after a long game like that, but Sniper could be in some trouble here.
Yeah,
he just saves Pillar.
Looking to take a chomp out of him, saving Pillar until the flash from the 100 Thieves top laner, but he's not even going to use it. He knows this one's already done for. Shopify Rebellion are on the board.
We got it. We got the gank I wanted.
You did it.
And it was the jungler who I thought we'd get it from in Contractz. Really nice recognition of being able to do that topside 3-camp clear into gank. And here we see that's going to set Fudge into a good position. And we have Fudge's message from an NA Men interview.
Will you read that for us, Emily?
Am I allowed to swear?
Oh, sure.
I'm going to beat your ass, boy.
I'm not gonna fine you.
Yeah.
I might get fined. I don't know. Only that
good.
one producers
You're
say,
good.
so it's
you
fine.
You get one.
We'll put together the GoFundMe for you. Don't worry, Emily. It'll be fine.
Oh, that would be really funny. Fund my swearing. But yeah, really, really nice coming out of Contractz as we see River potentially looking for a gank in the mid lane. But he is just going to go back instead.
That was just a quick slide back into the jungle. He's ganking towards a faster path to farm as bottom side, Bvoy and Seoul. Let's check in on how this Lucian Milio duo is doing. Xayah Rakan, also a pretty powerful duo, literally designed to be played together. But Lucian and Milio, you pick these two because you want to abuse the range on the Milio. You want to utilize Lucian's early power and really take control and priority over the bottom lane.
Absolutely, and anytime Rakan is going for that grand entrance, it is very telegraphed. So if you're quick with it, the Ultra Mega Fire Kick, the Q, you can just knock him back, you can interrupt that. It's the same thing with Slice and Dice from the Renekton, with the Arctic Assault from the Sejuani. There's so many good targets for that Milio Q to be able to really make things difficult.
Isaac, I'd like to congratulate you. Welcome to the card-carrying members of the I Know
Thank
Milio's Q name club. There are very few of us, but it is it's quite a name for sure, as we'll see how well Bvoy and Seoul can do in that bot lane matchup. Last game, yes, Bvoy did end up getting to the point of just Senna is inevitable. However, I think that FBI had a much better game overall on his Jhin. He was doing chart-topping damage. He was getting multiple kills every single fight. He did have the one blunder at the end of the game getting caught by Seoul that did end up being the thing that ends the game, and that's very unfortunate. But I think for the vast majority of game number one, FBI was the better AD carry.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see both of these bot lanes coming up into the top lane. I think this is a really big test for Bvoy, like you were saying. And it's also going to depend on where they send him, right? Because Shopify theoretically have some nice setup they can get with the Lucian pushing down turrets, with the Yorick in the side lanes, especially with that kind of nice position that Contractz was able to get for him. Palafox is going to have to flash.
Yeah, Quid going for the shuffle there on Palafox to throw him back into what would have been turret range, but Palafox flashing out before the turret can fire a single shot, and it's a good thing he did, down to about 200 HP. I don't know if the single turret shot would have killed him, but it would have put him in enough threat range for a flash auto from Quid to finish the job.
Exactly. I think Quid would have committed to it and got that kill eventually, even if the tower shot didn't seal the deal. But that is just such a critical trade for Quid, because with no flash stun, without that threat from Palafox, Quid doesn't really have to be worried. He's kind of just chilling. And even though we're watching a lot of Palafox's laning, we're seeing all in.
Yeah, we've got the all-in bottom lane as both junglers are also ready to try to commit to this. Contractz ran into River there. Sniper versus Fudge. The dominance from the Renekton, very powerful as they do finish the Maiden of the Mist. Big kill there, Isaac. I know you always hit on this a lot when we have Yorick in the game, how consequential it is to lose that Maiden early on.
I mean, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds, the cooldown. It is brutal. So now you have no pressure in the lane until that really does come back up. And this is one of the little things that I often see people make as a mistake for pros who haven't played a ton of Yorick. So when you are taking a fight that you know is guaranteed to lose, you actually don't want to throw your E on the enemy. You just want to run, because the Maiden will not follow you if you throw the E on the enemy. It's actually aggro to them. So that's why when Fudge starts retreating and he's kind of fighting back, the Maiden is still staying out there and then ends up getting picked off. So sometimes in these situations it feels counterintuitive, but if you know it is just a hard losing fight where you're going to have to back off anyway, you don't want to use the E, let the Maiden retreat with you, base, and then the Maiden will stay alive and live to fight another day.
Yep, and so we'll see now. They're both going to be going back on the bot side. I am curious to see about this initial grub setup and just objective setups in general, because it did feel like outside of kind of one attempt at the first Drake, 100 Thieves were really late to a lot of these objective setups, and even when they did win the fights, it was that early Drake stacking, right? Like it was that those objectives taken by Shopify that really allowed them to scale up, especially in a game that was so back and forth with fights.
All right, Bvoy and Seoul still level 5 on both of them, but about to hit level 6, which are pretty massive ultimates for both the Lucian and the Milio. As 100 Thieves are going to head up towards this top side river. You do have the grubs now spawned as of 15 seconds ago, but Shopify Rebellion are not willing to let it go. Remember that Contractz' ulti specifically ready to counter River. The teleport is available for Sniper, but not for Fudge. This is a pretty big deal if one of those top laners gets involved and the other one cannot follow. But the first grub has already gone the way of the Rebels. Second grub going to do the same as they're trying to. You can see them just scrambling a little bit further, slowly inching their way away from the pit, as now they will commit enough to secure that third and final grub, just like in game number 1. But now they're trying to avoid the consequence from game number 1, because remember, this was the fight where they really ended up getting punished. They ended up having some troubles here. They're going to get away now.
Yep, going to be able to get away. Pretty happy about that, you have to think. I'm a little bit surprised that they weren't willing to actually commit the teleport from Sniper and try to punish there. But I guess they were just worried about how much damage Yorick could get done on the tower. They don't want to give him too many plates. They want to keep Sniper in a winning position in his 1v1. And I think that's reasonable as well, because Yorick really doesn't do anything if he's not winning side lanes. So sometimes it's better to just keep pounding in that 1v1.
Ooh, Palafox getting dove. Nice engage coming out from River, but it's not enough to immediately get the kill. Palafox still tries to escape, but because the flash was still down from the earlier play from Quid, there's no way out for Palafox. 100 Thieves makes their way to the board.
Really nice recognition from River when he can go in. They can make a play, end up killing the Annie. Back to Azael's point from previously, I also think it should be really interesting because it was Shopify that did end up getting those 3 grubs, right? So it's going to be them with the might, and combined with the split pushing power of Yorick, they do have the potential for a really, really threatening split push.
Absolutely, as long as he can get to that tower, right? Which makes winning the 1v1 even more important for Sniper. So, you know, he may just decide to kind of really commit to his game and playing for himself to make sure that he's always in that winning position against Fudge.
Okay, Quid going in again. The pressure onto Palafox is the play for game number 2 from 100 Thieves. Wanting to get Quid ahead, wanting to have this all-pro mid laner be in a position where he can control the game.
Absolutely, and it's also, we even heard from Golden Glue, you know, the pressure is kind of more on Palafox to be able to make things happen on this Annie. If the Azir that outscales you is already ahead, he is just in a really good position.
All right, well, the Infernal Drake goes over to Shopify, and honestly, it's a pretty similar situation to what we saw in game number 1, because it's a slow first Drake, but it's Shopify Rebellion with control over the neutral objectives in their entirety early on.
And you can see the Fudge up towards that top side. Obviously, he invested in the early Bramble Vest, wanted some anti-healing, wanted some armor. I don't love Bramble Vest against Renekton because you're mostly just healing with that Q and you're not actually always applying that auto first. But that being said, it is going to be a lot of gold that is not doing anything against this Azir. So I think that's why they're kind of sending Quid up towards that top side now. Quid is going to be there to answer him.
Wow, Sniper with a flash back in after Palafox forces the flash of the Annie again. Palafox thought he was safe enough, stunning the Crocodile and stepping away. But Sniper with a full commit guarantees that not only does Palafox once again no longer have his big engage mechanism with the flash, he loses the Tibbers defensively as well, and he's in no shape to stick around and try to defend the tier 1 turret. That's a couple plates for Sniper.
Yeah, this is going to end up being 2 plays for Snipers. We see River looking in mid lane.
Ooh, immediately hits the ulti. Seo's could be in a little bit of danger here, but Bvoy's also going to be a target. Nice use of the Breath of Life there from Seo's, though, to put Bvoy in a spot to fire back. Eyla down to 100 HP, and Bvoy shoots right through him. Nice little bit of a stun there from River at the very end to maybe go for a stun on Bvoy, but it ain't going to matter. Bvoy and Seo's outplay in the 2v3.
And there we see the power of the Milio pick as well. Right? We were talking about how important that was in draft, how surprised we kind of were that 100 Thieves didn't end up banning it on that 4-5. And that is the Milio's presence there is what really allows Bvoy to play so aggressively. Now Contractz is going to get a lot of damage done onto River.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see from the Trundle when he goes in like this. That Not quite what you want to see, having to spend the flash to get back out, but at least he takes the red away from Contractz, and you can see how bad that 1v1 is when you get subjugated, when you have the Arctic armor up and it gets sapped away. But right now, let's take another look at what happened back in mid with the attempted play from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, as we see River coming in, he's going to land that Glacial Prison right on to Seos, right? But even though Bvoy ends up getting charmed, he's able to turn it around, and you really, really see the power of the Milio on top of the Lucian. And this is what I think really allows for Bvoy to feel so comfortable in going forward to get that kill on to Eyla.
Oh, but now we already got another fight. Seos in danger. No way to get away from this one. 100 Thieves get their play this time around. They'll secure the kill onto the enemy support. 13 minutes into the game. Kills tied 2-2.
Yeah, we didn't see the setup, but of course, you know Seos has no summoners there. You know the Bvoy has no summoners, so you're going to look to try to attack them to try to punish in that situation. And they were able to effectively do so.
And thus far, this game is a lot scrappier. It feels a lot scrappier than the last one, right? Like where we're fighting in lanes. Both junglers are really, really trying to get involved early on. And here we see, we were talking a lot about these top laners going up against each other. We showed a little bit of the trash talk coming out of interviews. This is weeks 1 through 5 where Fudge was kind of really struggling and Sniper was taking off. Now we'll hot swap to the later weeks in the split where Fudge really started having some great performances. Even in Shopify's losses, it felt like he was always doing something for the team.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, it's like the stats aren't going to look as crazy because you're on a team that loses a lot of games, right? So, you know, there was a lot of games where I thought he was really standing out, really doing his role well. His Malphite game was great. He had some losing Gnar games that were great, but they are potentially looking for a dive. Palafox absolutely has been the target many times so far this game. And River is here and waiting to see if there's going to be an opportunity on this next wave.
Yeah, he's committing a lot of time to sitting in this brush, and while he's committing that time, Shopify Rebellion is looking to go after Eyla over in the mid lane instead, but that also shows 100 Thieves that most of the firepower for Shopify might be nearby, but they're closer to mid than top. It looks like River's going to go for the recall. Palafox will be safe for now, but nope, never mind. River's still sticking around. The amount of time he has committed to this is a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, I think he's just saying, I'm going to stay up here for Herald and just kind of be around here anyway. So he's not going to base. He's just going to wait, see if there's any opportunity. And at this point, he's just kind of seeing, you know, where the other members are. Is anyone going to come behind Palafox? He is waiting, but they desperately want to get this pick before Herald, I think.
Before Herald, and Palafox's flash is almost back up.
The other thing to look for is both top laners do have their teleports, but Sniper is almost level 11, not quite there. The level 2 ulti could be a big deal, as immediately River goes for the engage, and they find a lot of CC onto Seos. He pops the Breath of Life, but he's already low on HP. Bvoy wants to try to turn it around and go for the damage onto FBI. Instead, he needs a little bit more there with the Piercing Light, but now with the rest of the fight, Palafox has found his way in, and the Feat of Warfare is claimed by Fudge. Sniper on the run with only 200 HP left, and Shopify Rebellion are going to find a stun onto the Fed Azir. The Ultra Mega Fire Kick, not enough to guarantee the kill. But the one kill they got was the enemy jungler, Shopify. They will win the fight in the topside river. They will claim the Feat of Warfare. And now with the Rift Herald earned, they will claim the Feat of Neutral Objectives as well and secure themselves the Empowered Boots.
They also secure that first turret before they even do that, right? So they get it. Yeah, they get it right off the bat as well. Fight 1, Herald claim, mid-tier 1 chewed through. That was really, really nicely done from Shopify.
Absolutely was. And this initial pick, it looks like it's a pretty good angle, but there's no damage to follow up. It's just the support and the jungler, right? So great, you have this huge CC chain, but it's over before FBI even gets a single auto attack down onto Seos. So it would have been a great look if they actually had people in position, but as you commit everything to support, Bvoy pushes FBI out, then Palafox and Fudge arrive here. Palafox has a great stun, and Fudge is just running them over. Everything committed to the Milio. Milio lives. It's going to be a bad fight.
Yeah, and really nicely done out of, again, we saw Palafox's rise making a huge difference in game 1. Let's go. Coaches are happy in this case, really landing some crucial stuns on Annie, despite the fact that they really did take advantage of his flash being down, right? They were able to kill him off inside lanes. Palafox being able to step up for this team would be massive.
I mean, that's something about Annie. No matter how far down you get, you still have point and click CC,
True.
right? Like, you still are going to have that. And now they're going to crash this in for the tier 2, get a lot of damage down on it. and they should be able to finish it up. I mean, Trundle and Yorick are two of the fastest turret killers in the game. They're going to crush towers when they have the chance.
Trundle, Yorick, and another game where you got all 3 grubs. It's feeling great for building these gold advantages through these side lane pushes. And the gold advantage for Shopify is just about 2,000. Will be reduced down to about 1K after Quid claims that turret there in the top side. Meanwhile, Contractz in a fight in the enemy jungle. He's got Palafox and Seoul right beside him, but he's got Sniper coming up right behind them. The Croc in some trouble as Eyla goes back in for the counter engage. The calling from Bvoy flies out as Eyla jumps over the wall with a grand exit. Somehow, nobody from either side died, but it's 100 Thieves way closer to the grave.
Yeah, they absolutely are, but there's so much gold being concentrated onto Quid. So yes, there is this gold advantage for Shopify. It's 800 gold lead, but look at the gold lead in mid lane. You know, not only does he have a big CS advantage, not only are they putting all that pressure, yeah, you traded tier 2s, but one tier 2 went all to the Azir, and the other was split among multiple members. So he already has that early Rylai's done. He's on 2 items incredibly fast here. And he is going to have the opportunity to carry this game. A lot of pressure is going to be on his shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with, like you said, the trade that happened with them funneling all this gold into him. It was actually really crucial that 100 Thieves were able to get out of that fight with no one going down. Going forward, it's going to be key to see where they set Quid up in a lot of these fights and how they'll be able to make the most of him.
It's also interesting because Contractz, you know, he's not going kind of like a more middle-of-the-road route. He did go straight towards the Triforce, so he is going a more expensive, more aggressive build here on the Trundle, and he is going to be powerful. If you ignore this guy, he's going to be able to do some real damage to your carries if he gets up on them. And like I said, if he shows up in an opportunity, you know, if Fudge and Contractz ever kill someone off in a side lane, they can just take your base. Like, they are going to crush the towers so incredibly fast. So Contractz has an opportunity here to really put on some pressure, looking like he's going dead man second, and he'll have the opportunity to try to carry himself as well.
And just as you're saying that, he is going to be able to take down this tier 1 topside turret really easily. Nothing Sniper can do about that.
Yeah, pretty tough to try to deal with the Yorick, who's got that much split push power. Grubs, Demolish, Trinity Force proc. It just deletes the thing. Otacon is about to spawn here in about 10 seconds. It is bottom side river this game, so not the ability to cause the split map situation between that and Dragon like last time around. Contractz throwing out the Trundle pillar there just to see if maybe you can stop them if they were going for some sort of a dash ability that would be slightly offset by that pillar. Catch somebody in the pit, maybe force a flash, but it ain't going to happen. Bvoy stepping back away from Ayla's grand entrance, was ready for that one here on the Lucian. Honestly, has had a very solid performance on the champion in this game so far.
He really has, and he needs to play aggressively like that because you have Milio behind you who also has the Mikhails, right? You have double cleanse here from your support. So if you get hit by CC, it's going to be okay. You need to be in their face. You need to be playing aggressively, and he's done that so far. He already has the Essence Reaver Rapid Fire. He's working towards that IE, and that's when things are going to get really problematic. You look over at the other side, FBI is the entire Rapid Fire behind right now because he invested into the boots, and he's just sitting on the same BF as his opponent.
Okay. Shopify are going to start up this Otacon.
Otacon started up. Last time around, 100 Thieves weren't close to it. They were across the map dealing with the Dragon since the Otacon was topside. This time around, same story can't be told. Keep your eyes on Quid for 100 Thieves. That's the man to watch. Teleport's coming in from both sides. Palafox in the brush, but he's going to be found out by Quid before he can get the angle that he's looking for. Sniper arrives, immediately has to slice and dice back away. Tibber's about to fall, but barely snaps right back to reality as Sniper wants to flash forward, but he gets locked up as he tries to do it. The Otacon's down to 2,000 HP. It's going to be claimed by Contractz, by Shopify. Eyla dies in supportal combat, and 100 Thieves is looking to fall back to the safety of the Sun Disc, but it's not going to be there any longer. FBI falls. Fudge takes the kill, and Bvoy ain't done yet. He's going straight in for Quid with a piercing light. A couple more shots will get it done, and Lucian's pursuit finds his man. 100 Thieves lose 3, make it 4. Shopify Rebellion crush them.
There's no better feeling than being Lucian and having Milio. As we already pointed out, Bvoy is able to play so aggressively onto this, and as we see this fight set up with Yorick and the Renekton both arriving, keep your eyes on Palafox in particular, especially when he's able to come in to the back half of this fight. Even as Eyla goes in, he is actually going to end up getting out damaged on the back half of it. Contractz with the smite, and then they're able to clean up the fight on the backside.
And to me, it's kind of reminiscent of that previous fight where they went for the Milio up in top of river, because they land all this good CC, but no one is there to actually follow up. Their carries are not in the position to actually hit the people that they are CCing, so it doesn't matter that you get a 4-man Rakan engage.
And talking about CC, Sniper had to use Ruthless Predator on the Yorick cage. For anybody who missed it, the Renekton special animation of the W, he's hacking the cage because he's stuck in there by Fudge. He can't get to a real target to lock him up.
Yeah,
There's going to be 2 items very soon, so just we have to be very careful about Azir. He's the main target in this game.
Okay. I got chunked too hard. They was 3 flash.
Fudge with the call out, and you can see the frustration on the face of Quid. He also recognizes he's the main target in this game, and if he can't get the damage done, it's not getting done at all. As Shopify, now with a 4,000 gold lead, 2 Drakes up, all the grubs. Things are going their way, 26-11 now with the pedals as well after claiming the Otacon. A bit of a stare down here in the bot side River as the calling opens up from Bvoy. A nice dodge on River's Glacial Prison too. The Drake is alive. Shopify have control over the bot side River. The Maiden taking a little bit of damage, but nothing extreme just yet. Sniper looking for the opportunity of a pincer attack. Fudge tags him though, and they have eyes on the enemy top laner with Fudge chasing him out. Sniper is no longer in a position to find that flank. Instead, he has to defensively use Dominus just to stay alive. Palafox going in. They find the stun on a Quid. They need more damage to finish him off, but Quid is a massive Shurima shuffle. Bvoy's already got the killing spree though, and 100 Thieves are shot to pieces. Triple kill over to Bvoy. Shopify Rebellion are slamming this game. Sniper is the only man left alive. He runs into enemy fog to try to get away, but it may just be a delayed death as Fudge finds him and buries him with the shovel.
Fudge takes him down, and Shopify are running away with this game. 3 dragons to their name, massive lead after the Otacon, and they crush this fight. Sniper trying to get in position to flank, but Fudge marks him, pushes him out, and then the engage here from Palafox. Even though Quid gets in and gets the big shuffle, that might matter if you had other carries with gold on the team. It is only him. So him giving his life to make this play does not equate to a winning play for 100 Thieves.
And this is so reminiscent of some team fights we looked at from their previous series, right? Fudge doing an excellent job of marking Sniper, making sure he can't get into the fight. Happy Revan is my new favorite thing.
Nice, boys. Yeah, just chase him down.
Yeah.
Good synchronization on the nice there as
know.
well.
Oh yeah, everybody in this
that's so
team.
chill for such a hype fight.
All right,
Come on, guys.
5,800 gold lead. Damage dealt to
Yorick.
champions last team fight. Yeah, so much of that is when Fudge marks Sniper at the beginning and just starts destroying him. Now Contractz here from the front line. He has absorbed the Sejuani's defenses, though. The Trundle into the Sejuani. Such a classic counter pick that we have not seen much of recently, and it's doing a great job so far this game. Contractz 2-0-8 on the Trundle. 10 out of 12 kill participation. Redemption for his poor performance in game number 1, as he is confident moving forward to be the front line here for the team in this one. Calling from Bvoy to force back 100 Thieves. FBI's about to die. Seoul takes the kill. FBI dies before his ulti is back off cooldown from the previous fight. The barrier's not enough. Sniper's into the Shopify lines, but he's all alone. It was just a free kill gifted over. Quid is about to die now as well as Bvoy charges in. Eyla falls again. River and Quid can't do a damn thing. And Shopify Rebellion are marching down 2 lanes. Fudge has more minions that are normally allowed on Summoner's Rift all in one place, with grubs and ghouls and everything else. They're going to shove down top lane, and Shopify are going in for a potential game-ending push. The minion wave is spawning, but it does not matter. River was taking the red buff, and Quid and River will scramble to try to defend. The Sejuani trapped inside of the Yorick cage, forced to use the Arctic Assault to escape. The Cozy Campfire going to keep everybody nice and topped up on HP as Shopify Rebellion make their retreat, happy with what they want.
The most hilarious thing about that was just Yorick split pushing bot, right? They're winning the fight on like the front, and then they're also winning with this Yorick in this side lane split push. We talked about how important that was going to be, as 100 Thieves are going to be able to stop a few of these backs.
Yeah, I think it's desperation hours here for 100 Thieves. I mean, you're hoping that maybe you can chase and get a lazy back, get a kill, flip a Baron, do something, because this Soul is coming. And when you are really far behind, and then there's a Mountain Soul as well, your chance of picks get that much more difficult to take. We didn't get a chance to talk about the graphic because there was a fight going on, but Contractz I don't think it was a snub that didn't get All-Pro, but he played really well and was catching a lot of votes. It was kind of between him and River, I think, a lot of time.
Okay, immediately though, Eyla in some danger. Shopify have lost their carry. This could be the angle for 100 Thieves. Fudge is about to die now too, but he survives with 200 HP. Sniper and Eyla are already both down, so River, Quid, and FBI have got to be a little bit careful here. They got Bvoy, and that's critical. But Shopify Rebellion are looking for a little bit of revenge. Palafox goes in, needs the stun, but he ain't going to find it here just yet. River with a little bit more damage takes out the enemy mid laner, but they have lost FBI as the trade, so a 1-for-1 on the back end of a 2-for-1. It's still more dead on the 100 Thieves side, but at least they got the shutdown on Bvoy. Problem is, the consequences keep on coming as River dies with a delayed death. He is only going to spawn barely in time for the Drake that would be Mountain Soul for the side of Shopify.
I mean, it's the Bash Bros in the top side here for Shopify. Fudge and Contractz getting so much done. 5-0-5, 5-0-12, both monstrously ahead. Look at the combined gold lead on the top side right now. That is ridiculous. They're nearly a combined 8,000 gold ahead, just those two players.
It's insane, and this should easily give them this Baron. I'm not really sure if there's anything that 100 Thieves can do about it. And as you already pointed out, Azael, look at the damage numbers coming out of that top side, right? I think Palafox has been doing a really good job with these Annie-Suns to set them up as well. And even when Bvoy ends up going down early, this Yorick and this Trundle are absolutely doing work.
Fudge going right back to where he belongs, marching down the side lane on the Yorick, causing a problem. Everyone else will take the opportunity to set up their positions closer to the bottom side river. This is a Mountain Soul if it is secured by Shopify Rebellion. They have secured all 3 Drakes thus far, and nobody on 100 Thieves is going to stick around to do anything about it right now as Quid and Eyla try to fight in the 2v1, make it a 3v1 against Fudge. Finally, the Yorick has overextended. They will get the punish. They will get the first kill on Fudge this game from a shutdown of 1,000 gold, but it cost a Mountain Soul.
Yeah, I was going to say, has he overextended? Because that is what allows Shopify to get this Mountain Soul, right? I don't think they care as much about Yorick going down when it means they get Mountain Soul. That makes it infinitely more difficult for this 100 Thieves squad to be able to do damage. We do see that death cap coming in now for Quid with this 3.3k gold lead. He is kind of their last hope in trying to get a setup for him. But Shopify have done a really great job of isolating him, making sure he can't get enough damage, saving the Annie stun to make sure he's at least chased out of the fight. It's going to be really difficult now with Mountain Soul on Shopify.
It's going to be even more difficult if Azir gets caught. Luckily for Quid, he can scurry out of there in time. But Contractz and Palafox looking for more opportunities.
Yeah.
We've got a TP from 100 Thieves, but can they collapse in time? Everybody else from Shopify is showing up to try to help. And meanwhile, it's River who's been caught out himself. Bvoy continues shooting at him. Seoul uses the Mikhails immediately to pop one of those CCs as the next one flies out. There's no punish for the side of 100 Thieves. Now Sniper's teleport is down. We've still got the super minions marching down the top lane as 100 Thieves will try to take whatever's left in their jungle and retreat before Shopify steal it away.
And sure, Quid has his teleport. He can answer the minions top, but he's kind of needs to be with the team. He's the only person who can do anything. And he has that death cap. He's on 3 items. I'm going to call it 3.5 items because he's going 2 directions. But Quid is really strong. But he doesn't have a lot of help right now. FBI slowly but surely is building up his items, is on 3 with the IE now, so maybe that will give them some sort of an in if they can find that perfect fight.
Yeah, and we'll see if they're able to find it. Bvoy already throwing the culling out, kind of clear for a little bit of damage to be done on this bot inhib turret. But meanwhile, Fudge is just absolutely a monster on this Yorick.
Now the big thing here, River does not have Glacial Prison. Remember, he used it earlier in that scrap with Bvoy and Seoul when he got cut out a little bit near the mid lane River. As we do have the mid lane inhibitor now destroyed. Bottom lane tier 3 turret about to fall now. 100 Thieves still don't have their engage button. River's still got a few more seconds to go, and it means they don't have any chance to try to stop the Rebels. Shopify are going to claim the bot lane inhib. Fudge is going to retake the top inhib as soon as it respawns, and it's now double super minions, every lane, every wave that 100 Thieves have to try to deal with. They're going to take up a defensive posture. They've only got one team fight left. If they lose it, they're out of this game. And Shopify will move up to a 2-0 lead. Maiden going to tank a lot of damage here at the very beginning. Only the one Nexus turret still standing here to try to stop Shopify Rebellion. As River on the front line gets a chomp taken out of him, but no commit from Shopify here just yet. They'll continue posturing, pressuring River. Again, just losing little bits of health. Palafox gets stunned as he wants to go in. As Eyla tries to find some damage into the back line, and Palafox is going to drop, but River dies just the same. Sniper and Quid both on retreat now, as FBI is still firing. Bvoy gets knocked up into the air, but Ayla's not going to get enough from it. The calling finds Eyla, the calling finds Sniper. FBI goes in the hero play to stop Bvoy, but you've still got 3 more Rebels pushing towards the base. It's Quid in a 1v3 to try to save the game, but Fudge is just too strong. Contractz and Seoul will finish the job, and Contractz dances on their grave. Shopify Rebellion go to match point.